reporting on AIT reports. Now, we just heard from in that story that even though it's been it's seemingly abandoned, or it's taken like 42 years to get to where we are today, that the Buhari administration actually committed funds to the project. And I just heard you say that you don't know what's caused the delay. How can you say that?
I'm not in government. And again, as an association, we felt that there is a need to complete this project. We've been doing advocacy, we've been doing engagement with government, and to the glory of God, we found the immediate past president taking it off from the normal procedures for contracts and everything, and handed the funding of the completion of that project to the third fund, since the third fund has been doing intervention things in the education sector. So for us, it was a big relief, and we're thinking that immediately those fundings were released, we will start seeing action there. But since the Buhari government left office, it's close to a year now, we have not seen anything happening there, and we are wondering what is the problem.
So don't you think you should do a bit more than wonder, try and find out what's actually going on?
We've been trying to find out what is happening, but we are not getting the right feedback.
Who are you talking to?
We are talking to people in the National Library, we are talking to people in the Ministry of Education, but we are not getting the right feedback from them. That's just the truth.
A lot of people also watching this report will actually hold you guys responsible. 42 years is a long time. And we're only just hearing the noise recently. What have you guys been doing over the years?
No. The noise is not recent. The noise has been on. We've had protests on this issue, calling on the federal government and the Nigerian elite to help us put words so that this library can be completed. It's a national heritage, and like we also insist that it's only a reading society that can lead. If Nigeria wants to continue to lead, we must have a reading society.
And you say you've been talking to elites and all other people to try and, be part of this, your campaign, but clearly you're not getting much response.
We're not getting that response.
Yeah, so don't you think you should do more?
We are trying to do more, and that is why in our next conference that we'll be holding in Port Harcourt in July, we are setting up a position where we can also come out with a communique that we also sent to government. At our conference in Akure last year, we also sent a communique to government, but up till now, we've not had anything from government. And every attempt to meet governments or authorities in government, particularly those who occupy position to discuss this issue, they shy away from it. And I must be frank with you, they don't even respond to our letters.
And don't you think there's more you can do?
That is why we are taking advantage of this opportunity AIT wants to also make a rallying cry to the Nigerian public, to the press, and also to Nigerian elites, so that they can join in this our call, so that we can get that library properly completed. And I think it will be one of the beautiful edifices you will see in Abuja. It's very close to the National Mosque. And if we are not careful, it will remain an eyesore.
Okay, there's a school of thought that says, well, look, you guys can clamor for decades, but the bottom line really is Nigerians are done with libraries and reading books and all that they've moved on, that the internet and all that has taken care of all these library things that you're talking about. But you're just saying now that it's still key.
The library is still key. You still need the library for you to do study. You still need the library for you to have that feel of education. Otherwise, there will be no need to read outside your home. If the telephones and the Google can replace the library, then there will be no need for serious study. And for you to study, you need that library ambience. And I can tell you without any gainsaying that the National Library Office in Area 2, a lot of Abuja residents can attest to it. It has produced people who went there to read for JAM, to read for WAEC. They are graduates today, they are PhD holders today in this country, just using that library facility. Because what the classroom will not give you, the library gives to you. And again, the public library system is the university of the poor. Because the materials that your parents cannot afford to buy for you, you will get it in the library. And the library provides that resources for you to study and to make a headway out of it. And like if you can see, recently the Punch newspaper, I mentioned it in my press conference, where Honorable Distinguished Senator Tony Nwoye visited the Onitsha Public Library. And what he saw, he almost wept. And for us as a profession...
What was making him weep? Was it bad, bad
because
shape?
the deplorable state of that library. That was the library that shaped Tony Nwoye, that gave him that pedestal to which he built himself to become a distinguished senator of the Nigerian Republic. So if people like them can help us to put voice, then we can begin to see that, okay, we are bringing this issue of librarianship and library to national discourse again. So that is the issue.
So it's not just an issue of the National Library here in Abuja. It's actually a systemic problem. I can remember, I mean, in Yaba, we used to have this St. Agnes Library, which I've used a couple of times.
Thank you very much.
You know? I mean, have all these institutions gone up in smoke, or what's happening?
They are there, but very deplorable. Nobody is giving attention.
When you say deplorable, are they actually functional, or they just functioning in bad shape?
They are functional in terrible bad state. There's no renewal of materials. The resources are obsolete. The environment is deplorable. When you look at the building, you begin to ask yourself, is this where people of great minds emerge from? Because it pains me. That is why we are also trying to engage the corporate Nigeria. Corporate Nigeria can also help us to rebrand these heritages again. Possibly put some investment and make it look bright for people to use. So we are engaging, we are still talking, we are trying to reach out to people. But the main platform we need is the press, and we need the Nigerian elite to start talking for us.
Just before I let you go, you also talked about the problem of the dearth of professionals manning these libraries. How big a problem is that?
I feel sad and I'm pained. Why am I pained? Because as I speak to you, you can check your records. We have over 150 professors of library science. We can tell you we have about 5,000 PhD holders in library and information science. As much as we are with all our expertise and professionalism, you are seeing governments or agencies deploying non-librarians to head libraries as librarians. What expertise will you get from such? You see a university like the Covenant University in Ota that have produced great mind, appointing a non-librarian to be the university librarian. For what? And we have them so many in Kwara State. We are even having issues with Kwara State as I speak to you now. A non-librarian was appointed state librarian. Who does that? Can they appoint a librarian to be the Surgeon General of Nigeria, or can they appoint a librarian to be the Chief Medical Director of an institution?
But doesn't that bounce back on you again? Because I think, you're talking about, what have you guys been doing about that over time?
For the past 62 years, we've been advocating, we've been having conferences, we've been sending communique to government, but I just think successive governments did not find the library an attraction.
Okay.
And because it's not an attraction for them, they don't think they should look at it. We are even advocating, as I speak to you now, that the renewable agenda of President Bola Tinubu can be kind enough to appoint an essay to the president on library and information matters, as it was in the days of Olusegun Obasanjo, when we had Dr. Nyako also as the presidential library librarian, an essay to the president. And when governments have interest and they give this type of appointment, then government can begin to look at it. Possibly nobody is talking to government at that level, and because of that, nobody's talking to us.
Okay, I guess there's so much to talk about when we talk about this issue, not just the library here in Abuja, but it's just a systemic thing.
It is a systemic thing. Even in FCT, we are also appealing to the government of FCT to also look at the library state in Abuja. FCT has 2 city libraries, one in Zone 4, the other one in Gudu district. You have only 1 librarian manning it. People are retiring, they are not replacing, they are not employing librarians. And we're also pleading to the federal government to also give waivers on employment so that they can employ librarians. As I speak to you, you will be surprised that the number of unity schools we have in Nigeria don't have librarians.
Wow. Like I said, so much to talk about.
Thank you very much.
The conversation continues.
Thank you.